not say something, at least on your end, to say, hey, we denounce this sort of behavior, is very telling. Now, there's also some artwork that is being sold through her husband that has some pretty graphic images of
young children.
Young children, sculptures of
like 12 years old or something, 11 years old.
With genitalia pieces on their nose, on their chin.
So actor Selma Hayek is married to the CEO of the parent company of Balenciaga, who has an auction site that sells some very disturbing child mannequins. Here's one of them. Wow. That's male genitalia on this one's face. Another one with the same type of face. And another. And a skull with demon-like ears and horns. Are you starting to see the connection between celebrities, Hollywood, the sexualization of children, satanic imagery, and Satanism?
And it's dolls. These are dolls you can buy and put into your apartment. It's like, who
the hell is that?
Who's gonna buy there's some weird people out there.
Like, it's like
someone's buying it.
A couple apparently. K or whatever. It's definitely someone buying it. I saw the price ranges.
50,000,
50,000,
100,000.
So it's obviously not broke people. That's number one.
So yeah,
it's rich people.
So the target audience is the same. It's the same audience that would be at Fashion Week.
Yeah, because it's
same audience that speak about agenda and representation.
Yeah, because there's no way some poor guy from Compton's buying a $50,000 doll.
No, with a kid on it,
and it's a child,
and a piece of a private part on their nose or on their chin.
And some of them are just them naked, and it's like they might not have any genitalia, but they're just naked, and I'm just like, what?
It's disgusting. Hell? It's absolutely disgusting.
And the fact that his company's connected to all this,
the Carey Group,
and no one finds that odd, and like Kels was saying before, where you were so many people were happy to shut down Kanye because he's anti-Semitic, or shut down Andrew Tate because he's saying mean things about girls. But this man is literally selling naked kids to other people, and it's connected to his company. Yeah. And everyone's like, okay. Well,
what should we talk about that? Should we speak about
maybe? Well, I do like going to fashion shows.
I do like Fashion Week.
I like Fashion Week. I don't want to not go to Fashion Week this week. Yeah. So how about I just see if he's less guilty next week? If he maybe he gets less guilty every week.
Let's talk about the weather.
You know what? Maybe it wasn't his company.
Let's talk about the weather. Let's go outside. I mean, it's almost Christmas, guys. Let's talk about Black Friday. That's right.
You know what? I see the mix-up.
Exactly.
He accidentally bought the company, and he didn't know what he was buying.
No, he wasn't aware.
He wasn't aware of it. And
oh my God.
He could have been forced into it. Someone could have taken his hand.
He could have taken his hand.
Signed
the contract.
Boom.
And yeah.
Bought a whole bunch of children's sex dolls.
Exactly. And Salma, Hayek, she's been with him since I think around 2000, maybe 7.
It's a long time.
Maybe even 4.
Oh, even.
And they got married in 2009. So
I guess maybe
she didn't know her husband.
At the beginning, I was stereotyping him. I said, this is not my kind of guy at all. And I remember when I started saying, oh my God, there's something here. And it was so silly. We started talking about football. We're both crazy about soccer. And then we started talking about science. He's very masculine, but in his head, he's a feminist. So he really roots for women.
That is hot.
Yeah.
That is
hot. Yeah. Guys don't think that it's hot, but it really is.
Pro-Islam. Haram.
Maybe she's been living somewhere else.
Maybe she didn't know her husband. Maybe she didn't know what he was into.
They live in separate rooms maybe for all that time.
No, maybe so. Maybe so.
He decides what happens with each brand under caring. People don't know that big brands are in fact a part of a group that kind of decides strategies, budgets, acquisitions, and other aspects. Most luxury brands look like they're being managed individually, but in fact, they're all in the same puddle. For all the brands in Kering's portfolio, it's Mr. François-Henri Pinault who makes the big decisions, even the artistic decisions. He's been involved in everything regarding the group since he took the business from his father years ago. He used to sell electrical equipment in Africa.
So yeah,
the fact that people don't know any of this, so what I love is
they know it.
The quietness towards all this.
Yeah.
I know they're probably just waiting for it to come out. Maybe it was something else. But so quick to jump on Kanye. Yeah. You're on him day dot. Yeah. You don't want to know any other piece of information.
You're on him day one because he decided to call out a community to say, hey, certain figures in your community collude and work together, and that's a good business practice that you guys all work together, but hey, you need to do better business. Him telling people to do better business is like, oh, no, let's shut everything down. Let's close everything. You actually did everything that he was saying that you might do. So your actions are counterproductive. You'd be better at demystifying positions of power or some of these things that you guys hold rather than trying to tell us to act like we can't see what we can see. You know? So same with the Balenciaga. If people want to act like they can't see what we all can see and you guys aren't saying anything. Hypocrisy, guys. Selective outrage is bullshit. We don't have any sympathy for that. And these are fucking kids, dude. I'm a father, so I take this very personal. Because I don't want anything happening to either of my children being involved in some crap like this where there's an adult manipulating them above them. Because children are impressionable. Children get taken advantage of all the time. So, yeah.
This is a spoiler. If you don't want to hear the spoiler from bros, please, the story ends up where happy ending, the mother brings the second graders to go to the LGBTQ plus.
That's right. I remember somebody's told me this. Maybe you told me this. Somebody already told me the ending of this movie.
Yeah. So that's it effectively ends with that. And it's just like, I don't know if this is a conversation that we need to be having in our entertainment written by and starring people who don't have fucking children.
That's a problem.
I was offended and pissed off when I saw that. I'm so tired of people in Hollywood seeming to have an opinion about children that don't have fucking kids. Now I'm talking.
Well, and the ones that do, they buy them. Let's be real.
Yeah, but or sniff them, or both.
No, those are really disrespectful.
That's politicians.
Ways of talking about mail order children.
I'm just like, well, there's a Wayfair theory that I find someone should make that movie. It would be weird. There could be a comedy put out by the Asylum. In any case, I get offended about this stuff. And look, I've spent enough time in Hollywood. It's just like, I can tell, like, oh, you don't have kids. You don't know what it's like to have children. What normally happens is a lot of men who end up being single into older age and or women, they end up adopting kids and or having kids very late in life. I had kids very early in life. So I feel I'm an authority to be able to have some sort of opinion about how my kids are raised and what things I'll expose them to and when I feel they're ready to be exposed to those things. And when I saw this as a threat in the movie, I'm like, yeah, you fucking lost me. You lost me, okay?
The real ethical issue here, one that is arguably criminally overlooked, is paid product placement targeting children. Children who are easily manipulated and don't have any concept whatsoever of the dynamic between brands and their non-transparent advertising. Case in point, the sugary pastry company Cinnabon sponsoring the Bee Movie.
How can a 12-year-old decide for themselves, rationally, who they want to be, what they want to be? This is why there's all sorts of things put in place for children to not make decisions until they're old enough, till their frontal lobes are developed enough to make rational decisions. This is why they're not allowed to vote until a certain age. You don't want them drinking and smoking and all kinds of shit at a certain age. You know, at 12, I wanted to be like Reggie Jackson or some fucking body.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing that I wanted to do at 12 years old that I ended up doing as a full-blown adult. Nothing. Literally nothing. Like, all my hopes and dreams at 12 pretty much dissipated by 13.
Oh, no, I was just going to say on that as well is it's also a fact that we live I don't know how people don't understand this. We're in 2020.
Yeah, 2022.
2022.
Almost 23.
Yeah, 23. And you're confused that it doesn't take a genius to go, all right, you run Balenciaga, what else do you run? Oh, here's this weird company you run.
Yeah.
Well, what do you sell? Oh, that's odd. How do you hide that?
Exactly.
It's public knowledge.
You can't. It's public knowledge and there's a paper trail to it. What pisses me off is that, like, we all got forced to speak English. Now that we all speak English, it's like people are getting upset that now we can compare notes.
Yeah.
And we can look and go, wait, that sounds like this happened here with this guy.
Yeah.
Wait, this sounds like this happened to this same person. It's a prevailing pattern. Yeah. If you don't like your people or any person being called out, maybe you should understand that there's patterns and that people can spot it. And if you don't like that and there's a pattern of being called out in any sort of way, do better.
I tell you the zebra story. You any of you know that story? Okay, I'll tell you this zebra story. Anyways, it's very difficult to parse out a zebra against the herd. You look down, you look up, it's like, uh-oh, all those damn zebras look the same. Yes, the camouflage is effective, but it's against the herd. All right, so then you think, well, we better identify a zebra so we can see what he's up to. So then you take your Jeep and a can of red paint and a stick with a rag on the end of it, and you drive up to the zebras and you paint their haunch red a little bit, put a nice red dot on their haunch, or maybe clip their ear with a cattle clip. And then you stand back and you think, hey, I'm pretty smart. Now I'm going to watch that zebra. So what do you think happens to the zebra? The lions kill it. Right. Because lions, they're smart, right? Hunting animals are smart. But they have to identify a zebra before they can organize their hunt. They can't just hunt the whole herd. They have to pick out a zebra. And so maybe it's like a zebra that's got a sore hip or something. And so you think, well, nature's kind. It just takes the weak. It's no, zebra or lions like really healthy, delicious zebras. But they look like all the other healthy, delicious zebras, so they can't get a bead on them. But if they're small and just born, or if they're limping, or there's something that identifies them, then the lions can pick them out. And then they do pick them out. And so the rule for human beings is keep your damn stripes on so the lions don't get you. And I'm telling you, man, if you want to remember one thing from my class about human motivation, that's a good thing to learn. People camouflage themselves against the herd, and they like to be in the middle of the herd, which is what fish do, by the way. If you have a big school of fish, the smart, healthy, large fish are in the middle of the school. Because you know what you call fish on the outside of the school? Bait. Right.
Just 100%. Do better as people. It doesn't matter where you come from, what ethnic group, what background, what religion, what culture, whatever. You are a human being. There is no Super Saiyan class of people out there that transform into monkeys and, they get to beat up the earth like Dragon Ball Z. You are humans, okay? No, there's no special ethnic group that can fly, has wings. So stop acting like you can't sneeze, poo, cry. You're human. Do right by other people. You do not get an exception because of your book or your culture or whoever to disadvantage other people. That's bullshit. Treat people fairly. And if you're not, then all of this angst that you may receive is warranted. Yeah. It's warranted because you're not actively doing anything to actually de-escalate the situation to be better.
And I think if you're like you said, if you're looking through patterns and people go, oh, but he's this, he's that. There aren't patterns of Kanye hating Jewish people. He hasn't made songs about hating Jewish people. If you look even further back when he was a teen, he didn't go around stabbing Jewish kids. He doesn't have a criminal record for that.
I don't remember him mentioning anything about the Jewish people when he made Jesus Walk. So
and like nothing.
I don't remember any of that in his earlier Rockefeller days.
Exactly. So when you look at
he's been in the industry, he's been on a deeper side of the industry than most people. So he's seen a prevailing pattern, and he said something, and he's not the first artist to call it out. So,
and that's why I was saying, like, when you look at other things, where you look at companies or people who run these companies, and you see the pattern goes back as far as sometimes the 50s or the 70s. That's a pattern. That's when people can go, whoa. Yes, this has been happening for a very long time.
Yeah, since the 1930s, the Jewish community were involved with jazz musicians and jazz music contracts. There's one particular person that actually did some very foul shit to a lot of African musicians at that time. They were doing rhythm and blues and jazz, and pretty much just went in a roundabout way and got their publishing without them knowing.
What do you mean?
That their publishing was stolen.
Their music.
The music publishing.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that's what a lot of these contract disputes with the music industry is about. It's about their publishing. Jesus. So Puff Daddy got pretty famous for asking for people's publishing, and he screwed over a lot of artists. Getting their publishing and offering to give them a buyout. He was just like, oh, let me give you $10,000, but I get your publishing. And so he would fuck somebody out of the contract, out of them getting residual money for the next. With the publishing, you get money for the next. It's guaranteed money for the next 20, 25 years, which is like a lifetime contract.
Damn.
Essentially. So you know, if people that do a crime in America and they say you got life in prison,
20, 25 years.
yeah, life in prison is 20, 25 years. So
20,
that's
25, yeah.
that's the length of the contract. You're signing a lifetime
man.
contract
Yeah.
and going, well,
And you're gonna give them $10,000.
We'll take all your publishing, and you may get it back if you live to see it. You know, and you're creating the art. So that's that's what Kanye's frustration was.
And
about.
I understand that frustration, and everyone would.
Yeah.
You know, but
there's more for you guys to learn about that if you want to check out our Kanye West video.
Yes.
Check it out. You know?
But with Balenciaga
Yeah.
and what he was saying was 100% true. That these are companies that have been also around for a very long time, I believe.
They've all have. All these companies have been around.
For a long
parent
time.
companies from Gucci to YSL,
Louis Vuitton.
Yeah, so they're all aware of things that they're doing, and they all have this very pervading theme of doing things that's with BDSM, something in a sexual light, something with heads chopped off. I don't know if you saw the Gucci fashion show from maybe like a year ago or
a couple years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and they were walking around carrying like chopped off heads.
And people aren't like phased by this.
Join Esperanza Spalding, her holiday favorite, Naomi Kelly, and Jennifer are going to join forces for the holiday.